Raptors fans are not happy with this, and I'd include myself in that group, as Chris Boucher is a guy that is a long time for the Toronto Raptors, been a guy that earned his minutes, found his spot in the rotation, even when he fell out of it, he worked his way back in. He's a hustler, he's a dog, he's a guy that has just been an integral piece to this Raptors group, the last remaining sort of player that was on that championship winning team, and now even despite the fact the Toronto Raptors have no big men, with the exception of Kelly Olynyk, there are no NBA certified big men on this roster. Jonte Porter could potentially be there. Mohamed Gay could potentially work his way into that spot. I'm not saying there's players that, could never be that type of guy. But Chris Boucher is a legit NBA player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's proven that over the last 5 years with the Toronto Raptors. Chris Boucher is a capable NBA player. And I get the tank. I get people wanting to play younger guys and give them opportunities and give them run and whatever. I understand. I don't disagree with that perspective. But what is happening with Chris Boucher right now? For a guy that, is currently under contract with the Toronto Raptors for this season and next. So it's not like he's in a contract year. But a player that has done a lot for your organization, is a fan favorite as well, being Canadian, so not that that should factor in too much. But Chris Boucher, despite the fact the Raptors are traded away all of their vets, and then have most of their main forwards, and Scotty Barnes, as well as Jakob Poeltl, and even last night, Abaji, going down with injury, and the fact that Chris Boucher is still not getting run, is still not getting minutes, is just ludicrous to me. It's kind of disrespectful. It's a bad look, on how we're treating our vets. And I get that Chris Boucher, isn't the prototypical guy to fit in a Darko Rajakovic system. I get it. I understand it. He's not a player that's an awesome facilitator making crazy dimes. He's a shot chucker. We know Chris Boucher. That's how he earned his minutes with the Toronto Raptors. I get it. But when you're so depleted of options, when you have nothing, and you're going to lose anyways. I know people are saying, hey, we're playing younger guys, so we lose games, yada, yada, yada. The Raptors just lost the Pelicans by 40 points. We were losing that game if we had anyone out there. Our entire healthy roster, we're losing that game. So the fact that Chris Boucher is just not even able to see the floor whatsoever, throw development out the window, throw all these types of things. One, it's just disrespectful for your vets. It's a bad look on the Toronto Raptors sort of organization. Not me bashing Darko or whatever, but I just don't agree with benching players that are good at basketball, regardless of how much you're trying to tank, especially when there's really no other option. And you're playing a bunch of development pieces out there on the court. But two, the Raptors are going to try to trade Chris Boucher this offseason. It is what it is. They couldn't get value from him at the trade deadline. The Raptors have a golden opportunity right now to give Chris Boucher 20 minutes a night. Have him as a vet out there that hustles, that gets some rebounds. The Raptors defense was horrific last night against New Orleans Pelicans. Letting straight line drives happen, then kickouts out to Trey Murphy III, and he just banged threes left, right, and center. Have some guys that are actually in the paint that can play a bit of defense on this group. Can do some things, can back up Grady Dick so he can work on being a bit more of an on-ball presence, these types of things. And then get Chris Boucher's numbers up so you could get a second-round pick for him at the NBA draft. So you could get something in return for Chris Boucher rather than having to attach assets in order to deal him away, rather than having to buy him out, buy out his contract for the future. It's silly. It's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of foolish what the Toronto Raptors are doing with Chris Boucher here now at this point. And I disagree with it. I don't think it's smart. And the Raptors fans, they were calling for it last night, in the game where we've reached the point where fans are chanting for Chris Boucher, the portion of the game, the season. It's like Chris Boucher is not Boban Marjanovic. He's not Taco Fall. This dude is a guy, a big man that plays really solid defense, gets you a ton of rebounds, can block shots, can get you some boards, and is good at basketball. Is he going to be a part of the future? The writing's on the wall. He's not going to be a part of the Toronto Raptors' future, it seems like. Unless there's a change, I guess there's never say never, even though I like Chris Boucher as a basketball player. Not perfect, but I like him as a basketball. He's not going to be a part of this team's future. He's not getting minutes right now over whoever the heck at the forward spots here now for this Raptors team. But to completely nuke his value, to completely say, hey, this guy shouldn't be getting minutes over two-way G Leaguers. And if that's the case for the rest of the season, with Pirtle out, with Abaji out, with our entire forward lineup now, like the Raptors healthy are thin on the front lines. We have Scotty, Abaji's a 2, but he's playing the forward spot. We have Jakob Pirtle, obviously Kelly Olynyk is a center, an actual center in the NBA that's good at basketball. And then we have two-way guys, and Jonte Porter as well as Mamadou Gay. Like, the fact that he's not in the rotation is something that I wanted to just speak out on. I wanted to sort of give my take, because I think it's getting a little bit ridiculous and it's getting a little bit foolish. And again, I understand limiting his minutes or not making him a focal point on the team or whatever, but given the current circumstances, it's just a bad look benching him. But we have another topic. We have another thing to discuss in this video, and it's Kelly Olynyk speaking out on his signing with the Toronto Raptors. And he's the guy that, again, is replacing Chris Boucher's money. Mamadou Gay, I feel like, is the actual replacement in terms of a project, in terms of a player that Chris Boucher was on this team. But Kelly Olynyk just signed a 2-year, $13 million per year salary. Again, given the NBA is expanding, it almost matches what Chris Boucher was making for this group. Kelly Olynyk essentially solidified himself in that role here now at this point, especially where Boucher is getting benched. And basically, he came out and said that when discussing opting into his contract, heading into free agency, he said, they traded for me. They wanted me here just to reciprocate that love and show that I want to be here too. I wanted to be here since I was 4 years old, and hopefully I will be here for the rest of my career. So, again, another Canadian like Chris Boucher, but a guy, I'm happy that he wants to be in Toronto. I'm happy to have good players that want to be in Toronto, no matter their age, no matter what's going on. I'm happy that Kelly Olynyk, a guy that fits Darko's sort of system as well, that he's eager to sort of play for this team. And then another big point that he added regarding just signing the contract extension is when it settled ahead of Canada's training camp and the Olympics this summer, it was also a factor in the decision to sign an extension rather than testing free agency. That was definitely a big part of it as well, getting all of this out of the way. Because as we've seen in the past, and it's completely reasonable, sometimes fans of Olympic teams and country teams trash on players for this, but when millions and tens of millions of dollars are on the line, you're playing for the Olympics, it's an intense sort of part of the summer. People look at international basketball and might look at it as, oh, it's a relaxing thing compared to NBA. No, it's a whole different game, and these players have bigger roles on their teams as well. So Kelly Olynyk is a key part of Team Canada, so he's going to be asked to do a lot this summer. So if he goes down with injury and he's still a free agent and stuff like that is happening, then that's a massive risk. Like, he could be losing $20 million if he has a career ending or at least a significant injury that keeps him out for a season. So to lock in that guaranteed money allows him to not stress about playing for Team Canada. So works out for Raptors fans. Most of us are Canadian fans alike. So, shout out to Kelly Olynyk for doing that. Obviously, is still a guy that's a beast for the Toronto Raptors. Again, this season, 8.5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 40% from the three-point line. Still only 32 years old. Very, very happy with this Kelly Olynyk signing, and I hope he's a long-term fit for the Toronto Raptors. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys have best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'm signing out. Cheers.